So puzzle survival is all about solving as many puzzles as possible. They become increasingly harder with time, and 3 strikes and you're out. So 3 fails and you're done. All right, let's go ahead and do this. So these are super easy in the beginning. Like these are literally just like free pieces or free checkmates in one. The level of these is like 175, 200. So these are very easy. Like every single one of you in chat, no matter your rating, you can solve these. Like if you can't solve these, then maybe do a little bit more puzzles, but you should be able to solve these. So these are all checkmates in one. Oh, there's another checkmate in one, which is the exact same one. You can't solve these. If you get this position, okay, and you're like, how do I solve this? Like, this looks so difficult to solve. There's so many things going on. My brain is just not comprehending. My rook is hanging. This is hanging. Wait, how did the knight even move? I can't even remember. Oh no, brrr, my brain doesn't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. If that's what's going on, okay, then you follow the old method. You know about the old method, right? When you're looking for a tactic, what you do is you look for checks, captures, and attacks. You look at every single check in a position. That's the first thing you look. Every single capture, and then every single attack. Now, in 99% of all of these puzzles, it'll only be checks and captures that matter. So that's what you'll need to look for. Checks and captures. Those are 2 things you need to know. And if you would do that, then you would immediately see that there's several checks here. There's this check, which is the worst check in humanity because you lose your queen. And there's this one, which is a checkmate. Oh, what checks are there here? There's this one. Okay, nice, but the king moves, nothing special. There's this one. Okay, nothing special. But there's this one and this one. But this one, that's a checkmate. So what checks do we have? We have this one, which is once again absolutely terrible. Then we have something that is this check. And this is also a capture. Ooh, 2 things in one. What a great combination. Bishop takes back. And now this diagonal has been opened up, which means that the queen can now capture the bishop. And this is an intermediate move. That's what it's called. Checks, captures, and attacks. What checks do we have? We have these, which are even worse than the previous check that I said was the worst check in humanity, because this, you don't gain anything. You just make this check, are all smiley and happy, and then you realize that your queen is falling and you scream. So this is terrible. What other checks do we have? We have checks with the rook. This is just a free rook. There's nothing, but there's this. And now what other checks do we have? This and this, there's nothing. Boom, there's that check. What checks do we have? Okay, we have this check, but this check, it's not so good because the king can move back. So we need to eliminate, we need to realize that we want to checkmate here. We need to eliminate the square that the king wants to run to. And this is the square that the king can go to. So can we eliminate this square at the same time as we're checking the king? Yes, we can. And boom, when we do that, it's a checkmate. We got check. This is like the only good check. Bum. What other checks do we have? Nothing good. We have this check. This is a different thing. This is not checks. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. You know, this could be you. This could be someone that's seeing this puzzle. And that's because there's a new theme. Every puzzle has a new theme. This theme is a pawn race, you know, like, you know, who's the fastest here? Are you the fastest? Is your opponent the fastest? You know, you want to be the fastest. You always want to be the fastest, okay? Because there's 2 versus 1 pawn, we are able to create what we call a passed pawn. So what we want to do here is that we want to exchange one of these pawns for this one to later be able to just have a pawn that can freely roam around and then go to the finish line. And this is the theme in this puzzle. So here we just take, and boom, and that's a queen. This queen cannot checkmate the king alone, unfortunately, even though the queen is a fantastic piece. Super good, you know, it's dominating the whole board. Even the strongest warriors need someone on their side. The thing on the side that this queen needs is the bishop. Okay, it just ended there. It was gonna be a checkmate in 3. The queen is the strongest warrior of the board, but sometimes the queen must sacrifice itself for the greater good. Once again, we look at the checks, right? This check, terrible, but there's this check, and after the king moves, there is a back rank. Ooh, and this is also a good one to know. Here, a lot of people would say, yes, checkmate, amazing stuff. So here we don't go, you know, bum. We don't go all the way here because the queen can go backwards. No, there's a checkmate in one. Here we might get really excited, you know, and just want to take back. But once again, checks, captures, and attacks. Is there a greater a greater capture than this bishop? Yes, there is. There is a greater capture. When you see something good, look for it better. And then you see this one. are there any checks? We start with that. Yes, there is. There is a check right over here, okay? What can the king do? The king can move. King moves, but then I see that my queen and my rook are best friends and they're coordinating, so well, there's a checkmate. Okay, so that's nice. What happens if this? Boom, this is falling. So here we have a win. Okay, king and queen on the same file. Let's look at the checks, captures, and attacks. What checks do we have? We have this one that's checking the king. That's forcing the king to only go to one square, which is this one, because any other square, the queen would fall. Okay, so the king is here. Okay, if I trade queens, you know, some people might think, oh, is this winning? Is the endgame winning? But that's not what the point is. The point is that this pawn is pinned thanks to the rook. So here, you can take this. That's the point. There could be checks here, but this rook has the opportunity of open up itself. The rook doesn't want to be, you know, blocked down by a pawn. The pawn is the rook's worst friend. The pawn would do anything to sacrifice itself. And here, the pawn can actually take something. What do we have here? Okay, checks, captures, and attacks. Free rook. Nice, we take it. Here, checkmate in 2, but very important to not go for this, okay, and get all excited. No, you go for this. And then now, it's a smothered kind of. Checks, captures, and attacks. Are there any checks? No, let's look at the captures. First capture that comes to mind is honestly taking the queen, which looks fantastic. But then we realize that we are good at maths and we can count. And we realize that if we go ahead and take this queen, it's actually going to be equal material. Hence, we are not doing so good. We are not winning. So important to be good at maths, important to count your pieces. Here, knight takes bishop is the better move because there's a checkmate. First thing that comes to mind is the fact that there's a queen that's literally just hanging. So we take that. And now we're starting to get to the 1300 puzzles, 1400 puzzles, you know? And this rating of puzzles, I mean, 1400 is a rating that many people do not have. So, you know, don't underestimate these puzzles. These are puzzles that a lot of people would not be able to do. Now, I present to you an endgame puzzle. This is called opposition. So it's a pawn endgame, right? And what you're trying to do here with white is that you're trying to draw. That's everything you're trying to do. You're just trying to survive with half a point because you've gotten yourself to a very bad situation. You need to make sure that the king cannot advance. Because if this king is able to place itself in any of these 3 squares, it is GG. The pawn will promote no matter what. So you need to stop the king from doing that. So there's a rule in chess called opposition. If it was black to move, it would be winning. Because black would be entering opposition, which means having a Mexican standoff and just standing in front of the other king. You're standing in front of the king, you're staring. It's like a stare contest, you know? It's like, bam, and then you stare. And you just say, hey, where are you gonna go now? You know, what are you gonna do? So you wanna be the person doing the ha. Okay, both colors. Like black wants to be the person doing the ha because then they win. White wants to be the person doing the ha because then they draw. So here, because it's white to move, white can do the ha. And then ha. And then now, once again, it's important that you don't go back here because if you go here, then your opponent can do the ha. Like here, ha. Here, ha. So you go here. And now, once again, opposition, stare, ha. And then you get the pawn. Simple as that. Checks, captures, and attacks. Okay, checks. We only have this check. What happens if queen here? Oh no, the pawn blocks. Oh, that's so sad. My queen has to retreat. But no, we're better chess players than that, and we know that that is not the truth. So what can we do? We can actually capture this because the pawn is pinned, and we can take the rook. And once you've seen that, you will forever know that. Checkmate in 3. We want to put the king in a box and then really bam. We are closing down the box by checking in the most limiting way where the king only has 1 square to go to. And then here, okay, does that make sense? The theme of this puzzle is that the king is defending the rook. This rook should be able to defend himself. But now the king is holding the rook's hand and it just cannot, it's just not strong enough for it. It's very easy to kick the king away. And here, the problem is that after this check, the king cannot longer defend the rook. So we win the rook, but not just that. We have a pawn left, and this is going to be the winning pawn. But what is crucial is that we do not get overly excited and start pushing this and say, you know what? I am faster than you. I'm not even going to think about it. I am faster than you. No, we need to take our sweet time, have patience, pick up this pawn. And now, once again, we do not start running up, okay? No, we first put this king in the box in the position we want it to be in, and then we do it. So we need to ace up, bring this king up, because as soon as this king, when it's an H or A pawn, as soon as this king reaches the FGH or the CBA square, it's a draw. If the king was here now and it was black to move, it would be a draw. But now it's black to move. So we can actually go king b7 and we're winning. This is the most confusing puzzle I've seen in my life. What, are you saying that the queen is trapped? Is that it?
It's simple really. Checks, captures and attacks.
Okay, now I know how it feels. Now, the reason why knight c4 is so strong and not knight b3 is because after queen a2, knight b3, we can regret our decision and we can go queen a3. Then it's like, and then the queen escapes. I think that... Excuse me, what is this? What is this? Queen c3? But what's the problem? Okay, the queen a3, okay. So the whole point is just that queen a3 doesn't work because knight's here. Okay, sometimes it's not about the checks, captures, and attacks. Sometimes it's about your opponent doing checks, captures, and attacks. You need to sometimes see it through your opponent's eyes as well, not just through your own eyes. It's very easy to just see everything from your own, you know, pair of shoes, but from your own position. But sometimes you need to think about what your opponent is gonna do too. So let's move on. Let's move on. You see, these are the ones that are much easier. Checks, captures, and attacks. Boom. There's a check. There's a free rook. So much easier. Oh, here, there's a pawn that is pinned. Yes, our bishop is doing very, very sneaky things. Oh, the queen can actually sacrifice itself for the pawn, but it's not really a sacrifice because it's pinned. That's so much nicer. Oh, this is a checkmate in 3. This is so much easier. So we look at this puzzle. What a crazy cool puzzle it is. Okay, so what happens here? Well, what happens is that we first and foremost want to introduce our queen to the game. We want to get the king to move to a square where it's not defending the rook anymore. And then we want to be able to push our rook, threaten the queen, because if the queen moves, then there's going to be a checkmate, okay? So this queen is pinned. And now the reason we went here first is because after the rook blocks, this rook is hanging. And then boom, we win the game. Easy puzzle. Okay, we move on to the next one. This puzzle is about back ranks, okay? We see that this rook right here is stopping the king from ever going to the second file. And this queen right here, it has the ability of going for an insanely good check, because you know what we say, checks, captures, and attacks are the best thing ever. So there's this, and now this is a back rank. Here we have a position where we might get a little bit lost in our train of thoughts. Why? Because it seems as if our queen and the knight together are gonna be the pieces that are together gonna checkmate this king. But the truth is that whenever you have a certain amount of pieces, you never have enough. You always need to bring more. The more pieces you bring, the better it is. And that is why this bishop that right now seems to be a calm person at home is not gonna be calm anymore, and we're gonna bring it up here and check, because the king right now cannot move anywhere. And now we take, and there's a pin. Checks, captures, and attacks. What checks do we have? This check, terrible. We have this check. What happens here? Check. This is pinned. The pawn is pinned. The king cannot escape because of this pawn. The king is locked in a box. We're gonna threaten it then. It's going to be a checkmate in 3. So instead of just going for this check and allowing the king to escape, because here we would allow the king to escape down this path right here, we need to make sure the king cannot escape through this path. So we go queen check here, and then check. Okay, so checks, captures, and attacks, right? So this check looks a little bit stupid. I'm looking at this. Bishop takes off 2, because if this falls, then bam, there's knight check, and then we take this. This was my first thought. Taking, and then just taking. But we just win a pawn. That's so underwhelming. That is so underwhelming. Really? This is... You just take it? What happens if king f1? Chess.com? Have we not thought about that? King f1 we take, and then this is gonna be hanging? Is that the thing? That we're taking, we're threatening this, so we have some threats? This is such an underwhelming puzzle, to be honest. So the first thing that's coming to mind is what happens if we take. So takes, and then rook check, because I'm looking at all the checks, right? So I'm looking at this. But then the king escapes. So then I'm thinking, okay, what other checks are there? There's this, but that's terrible. What other checks are there? The second check that came to mind was this. Bishop check, knight here. Queen check, the knight goes back, but then there's nothing more. I've just lost a piece. Then the only thing would be that I have takes, rook check, this and this, but there's nothing. So what happens if rook here? Rook here, king takes, queen here, this, no, and then I win the queen, yeah. So this has to be the move. Yeah. This knight is pinned. We right now want to get to g7. We want to do everything because this queen is right now pointing towards that. This bishop is pointing here. So we need to bring one more piece. I'm pretty sure this is just the move. And then now we cannot take because everything is defended. So boom, we go en passant. And then that's that. We got 40, everybody. We're right now at the 2100 puzzles. So here, our queen is hanging. So the first thing that we need to see is, okay, if we take this bishop and we come out alive, we're winning. So we just need to take this bishop and survive. That's everything we need to do. As a good chess player, I should not just take it, but I just do not see any other move that could possibly be good apart from this. So I am doing it. Okay, so the idea here is that after takes, there's check. And then after I go back, there's a checkmate. Take, take. Okay, I have queen h4. Okay. And then I'm gonna end up being bishop and 2 rooks. Okay. So that's that. So this, and then boom. And then we take this. Okay. These puzzles, I think, are a little bit more about attacks and like subtle moves more than like straight up, like, you know, checks, captures, and attacks. But here, I'm basically threatening this rook, and I'm also threatening to push and to win the bishop. So I believe that this is the move. Now we go here, and then we win the rook because it's undefended. This king is almost getting checkmated. If I go rook here, even though this looks really good, it's going to be really difficult to keep on checking the king in such a way where the king will be able to stay in this box. And I do not want the king roaming around over here. This is like the king's paradise. This is like laying on the beach and drinking piña colada. We need to calculate a little bit, but then b6 is the best move. But then now we finally eliminated this path for the king. So then we have check. Mate, because there's a bishop here, which I did not see. So here, the king cannot really go to a lot of places. This pawn is literally being so good. So we could look at checks, captures, and attacks. So we're trying to just once again put the king in the box, make sure that the king cannot escape. If the king is able to escape, then it's just gonna be a draw, or we're gonna be worse because our pawns are so bad. They're so isolated. So king f2, king is here, stopping this, and now we have this move, and that's a checkmate. That's nice, 44. We're right now at the 2300 puzzles. Okay, so pawn goes up, we make a queen. I feel like we have to make a queen. Queen, queen. And then let's look at all the checks. Queen check. It's just this, isn't it? Yeah. And then we just win the rook. Okay, guys, it was a little bit easier than everything I did. Okay, there we go. It was just queen h7. Queen check. We need to go with our king somewhere. If it goes here, we're getting checked. And then we cannot escape the check because our bishop is pinned. So we must go here where our king has more of a path so that after the check, we're able to retreat. So this is the move. Okay, the knight comes out. I guess we should just keep it safe. Maybe we should just go something like here. Okay. So, this looks like a position where the king is getting checkmated very soon. So we're gonna calculate how to checkmate the king. Bishop here, the king goes there, and there's not really a lot more. Queen here, the knight gets out or the king escapes. But what about bishop e5? King here, we need to find a square that will both eliminate this escape square and this one. Boom, queen f5. We're at 47. Here, the immediate move that comes to mind is this, because we're threatening both the queen and this knight. So this queen here takes, and it's going to be a checkmate. I cannot take here because if takes, pawn takes, I cannot capture back because of the knight. So, but I think this is it. I think that's it. And then we need to make sure we do not fall for this. So we just go ahead and take this with the king. Okay, here we are, I believe, almost trapping this queen. So rook here, we're threatening to push. Here, the only move is for the king to go up to avoid this. Bam. Bum. But then, rook up, queen here. So beautiful. And after f6, the queen cannot go anywhere. Oh, that's so pretty. f6, the queen is trapped. Okay, here, we're going now a little bit faster. Queen here, this. We want to be able to go queen check. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's this. And then we just bring in the knight. And now we have a few options. We cannot take here. So knight check seems to me to be the only thing. Knight check here. Takes, takes, we win the rook. Okay, the king goes here. We cannot move the queen because it's pinned. I guess we just take and we just win the rook. There we go. Here we're winning the rook in one move. So the question is, should we just take here first? Takes, takes, and this just wins the rook. You know what? It has to be this. Okay, we're not overly complicating it. So now we gotta go to a square where there's no checks. If there's this check, which is really scary, going all the way up here. Is there any place we can go to? Oh, I do not know if I believe in this. King C2, there's this. I think this is the move. I'm so scared of doing it. King C3, there's this. King takes, there's this. I'm getting checkmated here. Okay, do I do it? Ah! Okay, it was a 2800 puzzle. Was it 20? Was it this? No! I forgot! The queen cannot go all the way here. The queen cannot go all the way there because of this. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, so queen here, and then we just... Oh, this is so easy. This is so easy. You know what? Let's continue. It's fine. What happens if I just make a queen? Is it that bad? Check. If it's queen versus knight and rook, I think it's just a draw. Rook e7, and then check, and then king here. Oh, this is it. This is so it. Oh, that was so it. Okay, there we go. Guys, these are 2800 puzzles now. These are starting to become a lot higher rated. So this, I feel like the point is that this queen is hanging. Like the queen doesn't have a lot of places to go to. Like this, the issue is that the queen escapes. I want to go somewhere where the queen cannot go back here. So knight here, I think this is the move. Because now after rook here, the queen is trapped. We can just take. There we go. And now here, we look at checks, captures, everything, right? We need to do a discovery check because the bishop is in the same file as the queen. So if we check with the bishop at the same time as we check with the queen, it's a double, amazingness. It's so good. If this, then there's takes, and after takes, there's queen checkmate. So this is the move. That was kind of nice. So now this rook, I'm looking at the squares that are weak. This square is weak. I want to get a knight over here. I'm seeing that this pawn is pinned. So first thing that comes to mind is going takes, and then knight here. Queen has to move somewhere. I don't really know where the queen moves, and I end up winning material, I think. So I think I can just do this. And now I can just win it. No! What? Wait, I thought I was just winning a piece. Wait, no. What? I was so sure about this. Wait, there's a knight's fork, but we're gonna be a piece up, no? What? This? Check. I go with the king, and then I take. My knight is trapped. I'm supposed to take. Yeah, so this, I think takes, and now I just had to go queen takes. What? Ah, because if the king goes here, it's pinned. Ah, and then queen check. Ah, it continues? What is this puzzle? What? Wait, excuse me? So you do all of this? And now I was 100% sure that it was finished here? This is insane. I was so sure it was finished here. And then check, which makes sense. You do not go there because this, so check. Then you take here, and now it feels like it should be finished. But why does this continue? This makes absolutely no sense. This makes no sense whatsoever. It's literally an entire middle game. It's not just a fork double attack. No, it's a whole game. Suggest theme. Wait, can I give it a thumbs down? Okay, I'm giving it a thumbs down. I'm giving it a lot of things thumbs down. Okay, all right. Whatever, guys. That was crazy. That was weird. All right. I'm sorry, chat. You guys get all your points.